Eight Limbs Us is sponsored by Muay Nation and Onyx MMA in Singapore. And this was my fight against Duangdawnoi Luklongtan on Wan Wai Nai Kanam Tom, which is Muay Thai Day to honor the father of Muay Thai, Nai Kanam Tom. So the way his legend goes was he was captured by the Burmese, and the Burmese king said that he could fight for his freedom, and so he faced something like 10 Burmese soldiers and beat them all, and the Burmese king was so impressed. He said, you can either have gold or my daughter to marry. And Nai Kanam Tom was like, I can get gold anytime, I'll take your daughter. So that's the story of Nai Kanam Tom. And this was in Ayutthaya, which was the old capital of Siam. So beautiful, this national park. It's got ruins of temples all around it. You've definitely seen it in movies or shows that have like Muay Baran demonstrations amidst the ruins. It's all made of like brick. So really beautiful event. We had a female referee, which was exciting. I've never seen female referees ref for men, but they have become more common for female fights, which is very cool. And Duangdawnoi was WPMF world champion at 105 pounds last year. So I've been actually trying to fight her for quite a long time now, and it never really panned out. And then this fight kind of fell into my lap. So I was very happy to be able to fight her finally. She doesn't have a lot of video online, so I didn't know fully what to expect from her as a fighter. But I was just ready to go out there and do my thing. I didn't have a corner for this fight, so I got my corner about an hour before the fight, and he was really cool. He's actually from Ayutthaya. His name is Nung, and he had a really perfect energy in terms of leaving me alone and helping me, so it's a good balance. And he was great in the corner, so I'm very grateful for being set up with him for this fight. We fought at like 11 a.m., so it was really, really hot. Being under the tent was definitely much cooler than what you can see outside on the lawn there, but fighting in the day is definitely a very hot experience in Thailand. Duangdawnoi comes from this really big family. She has like 15 brothers and sisters, and they're all at the gym. Like the gym is her family. And so the littlest ones aren't fighters yet because they're like infants and 2 years old and stuff like that. But pretty much all her brothers and sisters are fighters or will be fighters, which is very cool. And I met her parents the day before at weigh-in, and they were really nice. Very cool people, but all those people you can see in her corner are pretty much her family, and they all came in their like shirts for support, and they were very loud during the fight cheering for her, which is very cool. Later in the fight, I also saw a woman that I know who her fight name used to be Borkao, but now she goes by Pet Tapi. She's very experienced, and she was cheering for me. I had no idea she was going to be there, so I just like looked over in the fight, and she was like, Sylvie, clinch, 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 which was very cool. I met her on another card probably like 8 months ago, something like that. So I knew that Duangdawnoi was kind of an evasive fighter and that she uses her front kick a lot, like not a teep, but her lead leg. So I used the first round to kind of figure out how to get in. You can see she's very like whippy with that lead leg kick. She can throw it numerous times in a row. Here she like almost tackles me and almost takes my back there, but I kind of got out of it at the last moment. She looks to her corner real quick. I think that she was starting out kind of aggressive, even though she's a backwards fighter. And you can see I'm kind of on the porch a little bit as I'm figuring out how to get in right away. She lands that lead kick quite a lot. It doesn't really have a lot of power, but it does score a little bit if it's unchecked or anything like that. I liked this referee. She was really good. So here I'm not quite cutting off the ring yet, but I am starting to be closer and closer as I go. I teeped her and she like punches her stomach and is like, go ahead, teep me again, which honestly I should have just teeped her again, but that move worked on me for her to act like it wasn't hurting. So here I'm starting to creep in a little bit more and like just shut off that distance, and she's not kicking as much as I come in. I still haven't really scored yet. Here, her foot got caught on my enormous shorts. We had to wear the shorts that were provided because they have like a sponsor on them. And her foot got caught on the bottom of my shorts and I thought they were going to get pulled off. Here I finally get in and get my knees into her center, and those are definitely hurting her, dragging her back a little bit, caught in the ropes. So now that I've made my way in, I'm more comfortable just closing that distance, catching the kick and kneeing. That's the end of round 1. So I just kind of got the hang of it at the very end of that round. But rounds 1 and 2 are not really scoring rounds so much. So even though she has points in the bank, you don't really need that unless it comes close later. So here I'm starting to stay closer, better. She's definitely trying to be more explosive in her strikes. She's pretty good at it, but in the clinch I'm able to move her around really well. I can kind of bend her in different directions, and her body language when I'm kneeing her makes my points very visible, so I'm actually scoring very high in the clinch. There, doubling her over, getting a little bit of hop and dragging her around a little bit. And this ref let it go as long as I was working, which is how you're supposed to do it, but some refs break really fast. So I was able to score pretty high points, and quite a few of them when we would lock up, if I could get around her like that. This was definitely like a distance fighter versus a clinch fighter in this matchup. She wouldn't let go of me though when it was when we were being broken. She would not let go. I should have shoved her off of me. Note for next time. But see there, I'm not kneeing, so she breaks it up. But again, won't let go of me. So here she's like whipping her arms around trying to look like real evasive, but she kind of gets kneed in the face here, and then me being over the top of her body, these are huge points. I'm kneeing her in the head there, and the ref pulls me off, and if you watch me, I think she's getting an 8 count, and I like go over almost towards the corner, but she wasn't counting her, so I just totally gave her a break out of nowhere in this round after almost knocking her out. So that's a note for me. Here, really big points, dragging her head down like that. She tries to do a spinning back elbow there, and that's the end of the round. So having almost knocked her out in round 2 and thinking she was getting a standing 8 count, but her actually kind of like stopping in the round, I became really like convinced that I could knock her out in this next round, and so I was a little bit overly focused on it. My corner was way into it. They were giving me good advice, but they were like, just go after her, which had worked really well in that last round. Unfortunately, my corner did not pay as close attention to my enormous shorts as I would want them to, so I was a little sloppy. Here she's trying to be real styly. She's using her movement to try to stop my cutting of angles and be more evasive. My corner's telling me to just grab her. So here I'm kind of yanking on her, and I can kind of pull her body in, so it's not breaking her back, but it's putting at her angle that she can't really defend herself in. So she's just trying to stay out of my clinch now. But once you're on the ropes, you're kind of stuck. See, she's going backwards a little bit. She gets out of that, but her head is down. That's really not good. And then I land a little bit on top, so that's a good point for me. You can see she's looking more tired. She's good at throwing those double kicks, but when we tie up here, I have a good lock on her. Having that lock and then being able to push her head back like this, that shows a lot of dominance for me. I'm not sure why the ref broke it right there, but maybe because she was so close. So now she starts doing these like spinning moves because she's a little bit tired. So she becomes more flashy. In this corner right now, her dad actually like hit her on the thigh and was like, fight harder, like through the ropes. I'd never seen that before. Here she looks like she wants to quit, and I'm kind of blind. So that spinning back elbow hit me and it cut me open. So that's how I got cut in this fight. You can't actually see it land, but it just clipped me. And then here I'm scoring really high and I put her down, and when she pulls me off, I like fountain blood all over Duangdawnnoi's face. She is covered in my blood right now. So the ref like looks at both of us to figure out who it is, sends me over to the doctor. And this is me telling him that I want to keep fighting. I'm like, why, like I want to keep fighting. And finally when I tell him I can win, that's when he nods at her and he's like, okay, let her keep going. So I come back out. She's trying to elbow me straight away. I think she really wanted that to be a knockout. So she's separating us, and then it's the end of the round. So my corner leaps in, and I'd actually had them go buy Vaseline because they had used all of it on my legs, and they didn't have it in the corner. So Nung is using his shirt to try to stop the blood while someone brings him like some towels or something. But they had to go get the Vaseline. I don't know why they didn't have it right at the corner right away, but there is some right there. And because there are so many capillaries in the forehead, it bleeds a lot. So I had a lot of blood going on. But I felt like I was dominant in this fight. Like I was fine going forward, but I knew that because I was bleeding so much, I really, really had to keep climbing. Like I couldn't just even out. So now she's going to try to be evasive because a cut is not a point, but me bleeding, the onus is on me to like really take the lead. So here she's kind of moving around. I'm trying to catch her. Like it's basically the same game but with more urgency now because I'm bleeding so much. So there she tried to do like an elbow and some move and she tripped over my foot. But you see what she's doing with her arms. She's trying to show that she's like kind of dancing away, like she's basically in a comfortable position, but she's actually behind. So she's trying to steal the fight with her body language, trying to be flashy. I kind of do the same move back at her, but don't quite hit her. But she's putting herself on the ropes, which she's kind of screwed once she gets there. So I'm able to yank her head down and get my knees in straight. I don't know why she broke us right there. But you can see she's trying to nail me on the way in, but then once I get in, these points are enormous. Like these are very high scoring points. I'm pushing her head back like that. Very dominant. She doesn't come out of the corner. She's trying to cut me again. She's got pretty good angles actually, like she's a little bit slippery right now. But here I almost take her back, and I'm trying to trip her backwards and the ref stops me. But I kind of couldn't see out of my left eye, which usually they're supposed to stop the fight if you can't see, but so I was just trying to position my body so that I didn't need that side, and then this is so dominant that I kind of don't have to do anything else. And you can see she wants to quit, like she really doesn't want to fight anymore, and total points to her that she keeps going, but man, she's tired and kind of disheartened. So I just need to keep landing these knees because that's where my huge points are coming from, and I keep getting them. So with that last dominant moment, that round is definitely mine. So here they have tobacco. Like a guy in the crowd had pulled apart his cigarette and they mix it with the Vaseline. And so it's like this paste, and that's really what's going to stop the bleeding, is putting the tobacco on the cut. So here's just applying pressure. Usually they'll just put like a huge gob of Vaseline. You'll see the men on TV, they have like an entire jar of Vaseline on their foreheads. You can totally do that here. The difficulty with the tobacco is that it's not going to stay on your face. So they really just wanted to put it on between the rounds to get the bleeding to stop. So here he's kind of packing it in as much as he can. I didn't really know what that was when it was happening. I knew that they were putting something on there that was not just Vaseline. But it definitely helped with the bleeding. I saw much better in round 5 than I had in round 4. But they're handling it really well. Like, they don't know me. And they're not super freaked out by the blood. They're just kind of taking care of it as best they can. You can see that gob of nicotine on top of my head. And then they're just putting more Vaseline over it to try to kind of like paste it all in. He kept pushing my stomach, which you do when you get knees, which I wasn't getting kneed, so it pulled my shirt down. And so even though I'm like gushing blood from my forehead, I was concerned that my shirt was too low. So that just goes to show what your like priorities are in a fight. You don't really think about things. So you always have to hug going into round 5. So that's the little moment there, touch gloves. And here she's just going to try to back off the whole time because she's tired. She wants to pretend like she has the lead, and I'm just kind of stalking her down. I believe that I could have danced off way earlier in this fight given the lead that I had, but because I had been going forward the whole time, I think that I felt like I wanted to be decisive in the 5th round. If I had danced off too early, with our styles, it may not have really worked, especially because I was bleeding so much. I didn't actually give it that much thought in the fight, but I think that's what I was subconsciously thinking. Here I get a good lock. She's landing a few knees, but she gets stuck. There I pushed her off a little bit. There she's trying to do her spinning stuff again. So she's trying to just be really evasive. Fortunately, she slipped there. I didn't do that. It's very wet in the corners. But it doesn't look great. Those score straight into her belly. You can see there's actually mixed messaging coming from the hands of my corner. One person's telling me to go and the other one's telling me to stop. She's exhausted, so she's just trying to keep me off, but once I grab her, getting her head down like that is huge dominance. So that's when I decide to just dance off, and she actually takes the moment to pretend that she's won as well. So the last maybe 10 seconds of this fight is both of us being like, well, I clearly took that. So then you go to your opponent's corner and they'll dump water on you or give you some water. I think that there was blood in my water, so they probably just dump it on her. But then you come back and wait for the decision. This guy with the bandana in the front photographed me while I was getting my stitches done. Here the ref says I'm the winner. And I go and I'm very happy about that. It was awesome to win on that day. It was a huge day, and she's a great opponent. Very nice, very cool family. They came up to me afterwards after I'd gotten my stitches and took some photos with me. They're very nice. And then this photo actually got circulated all around Thai Facebook. As I come out of the ring, that cell phone is the doctor who let me keep going, taking my photo that he then sent out to the publications, and then he wanted to take a photo with me, which I think it's because he let me keep going and then I went on to win, and so it's actually a good sign for him, like he made a good call. And now he's telling me to go to the van to get my stitches, and they're just trying to clean me up as people are trying to take photos of me. Walking through a crowd while you're bleeding, people always make way and get in your way at the same time. JD makes his appearance. That was a fun fight. It was a really good day.